Linda, glad to have you back. Today I just finished up a brand new seascape, kind of different. It's inside of a cave looking out onto the water. It was so much fun to do. You can see the top of the cave here, some beautiful boulders, the rush of the waters, different colors, the blues, the greens, and the flow of the water. I even have some birds in the back. So I hope you can follow me, pause and paint. You're gonna love it. So let's get started. So here are the oil paints I used. Liquid white, titanium white, black, phthalo blue, Prussian blue, sap green, green light by Artist Loft, Van Dyke Bound, burnt sienna, yellow, ochre, cad, yellow, orange, and red. So now I'm taking some liquid white, putting it on my canvas. I do have a piece of masking tape that measures 5.5 inches down from the top. And I'm taking some liquid white. I'm going to go over the whole canvas. And I'll take a shop rag and gently take the excess white off, because you don't want a whole lot on there. You just want a very thin coat. So now I'm taking a little bit of phthalo blue and going in the corners a little darker, working my way in, going back and forth strokes. You don't have to be real fussy. It's just kind of a simple little sky. Nothing fancy. I'll be putting some yellow in the middle there. But in the meantime, I'm going down by the tape. I'm putting a little bit of a blue down there. And not so much on the very top of the canvas, because that's going to be where the cave is going to be, up there. So you don't have to worry about that. So now I'm taking a little bit of yellow and white, cad yellow and white, and just going in there at the bottom of the canvas, or the bottom of the top of the tape, I should say, and just brushing in. That's where the sunlight is going to be. And just going upwards into that open area where it's lighter, going to be lighter yellow. Back and forth strokes, buffing it in, blending, and a little touch of green light and a little touch of brown, just to make kind of a dirty, I don't want to say dirty green, but kind of an olive green, but very, very light. I just want to make some dark clouds up there with a little bit of a yellow tinge to them. Back and forth strokes, tapping and just blending it in. Just working my way into the center line there, all the way across, blending. Taking a little bit of white now on my brush and just making some little cloud effects in there. You can make your sky any way you want. I'm just looking at a photograph here. I'm trying to mimic what I'm seeing. A little bit of red in that far right corner, just a little bit. It'll actually turn more orange. A little bit of green light again. and blue. Circular motions, just making some little clouds above the sunshine there. Like I say, you can make your clouds any way you want. It is a cloudy day, so I'm trying to blend in a little mixture of the light blue into dark and have some light clouds in there. I'm taking a shop rag. If you have any extra paint on there, take a shop rag and just gently rub over the top. It'll take the excess paint right off. Going into a little bit of the sap green and yellow with a little white. Touch of phthalo blue, very light, but I'm going to do the horizon. I did take my tape off and just do a little bit of a horizon there right underneath that sunlight there. Fan brush, nice even strokes, a little bit darker into the blue, phthalo, and green. Makes for pretty emerald and dipping in a little white there. And that's the backwater right in the middle, center. Gently putting that in. Those colors will come off your brush and it'll blend in beautifully. Adding a little more, going to the left, keeping the horizon as straight as possible. Blending. Now into the phthalo and a little bit of the yellow, just a little bit. Same color. Now into the lighter blue, phthalo and white. Didn't clean my brush off, just went right into that color. Creating the base for underneath that rocky mountain that's going to be there. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of Van Dyke, just kind of a light brownish yellow, brown with a little yellow in it. Could even add a touch of burnt sienna for the water. Now the fan brush with a little bit of white. Make some wave action way back there. Kind of skipping across, putting a little bit of blue in there, variety. Creating some wave action movement, little dip of white on my palette knife. Gonna create some foamy actions, wave actions in the distance. And then smoothing it out. You know, if you don't like a certain area, just take a small brush and just make it the way you want. So now I've dipped into some Van Dyke browns, a little bit of black and Prussian blue. Gonna do that back mountain. Just know the cave is going to be on the far right, so you don't have to go with that mountain all the way. It's just part way. It's going to come out into the water. A little touch of yellow in there to make the front part a little lighter. The back section, the back mountain, it's going to overlap a little bit. It's going to be a little darker. Van Dyke. And then it will angle around. And now I'm going to add a little bit of Prussian and black because I want that front mountain the darkest. So 3 layers of light, medium, and dark. I'm going in a little bit of burnt sienna. I'm going to do some highlighting in the back, giving it a little definition, separation. The sunlight is hitting that, so it's going to be a little lighter in spots. And with the Van Dyke on my brush, I'm going to Van Dyke and burnt sienna. I'm going to do a little bit on a rock there formation off to the right there. Using my palette knife, putting some dark brown on that, Van Dyke brown, a little bit of black. I want it dark on the top. Just angle over and make your big boulders going into the water. I'm taking a little bit of the light phthalo blue and just going back and forth with my fan brush, because there's going to be some wave action going there, going up and ending up into a splash over some rocks there on the left. So I'm just kind of laying the groundwork there, adding a little white to soften it up. Showing a little wave action there. I'm going to work on my my bottom big rocks that are going to be in the cave opening. I'm starting out with a little bit of Prussian, and gradually I'm going to be going darker. But I'm just outlining where this big old cluster of rocks is going to be at the base, the front of the opening of this cave. Adding a little burnt sienna on the right. Just setting the groundwork up for some nice definition, different values of color. Forming the top of that rock. And now going at the the base of the canvas, way at the bottom, creating where I'm going to have some big old rocks down there. That is very, very dark. That's almost black. It's black with a little bit of Prussian blue in there. Very, very, it's going to be very dark. Because that's going to be right inside that cave. I'm going into black and a little bit of the Prussian. A very, very dark color. And I'm going to start at the top there and create my cave opening. Just angling over. Very dark, almost black and brown. But I want that kind of wider on the edges, on the sides, and it'll be narrower at the top where the sun is going to be. I'm just etching that out there where I'm going to have that cave opening. And bringing it down the left side, almost to the rock formation. Bringing some more rock formation on the right side of that, and angling it down into the water. Figuring out where I want that to end, but it's going to be just short of that rock formation in the water. So now I'm taking very, very dark color again, black, a little bit of Prussian, and creating some shadow effects down in the inside of the cave, way in the back, down toward the bottom of the canvas. Leaving a little bit of that light blue in there to show. I'm going to have another set of rocks that I'm going to angle in there, protruding out the water. And then perfecting that top rock on top there, just angling it over to the right. Getting a nice dark color. Going into that dark color again with the dark brown and black. I'm going to go over and make a boulder down in front. Same with the right side. I'm going to have a boulder angling over that meets the bottom of the canvas. Just etching that in where I'm going to have that. Filling that in. Creating those shapes of the boulders how you want them. is filling that space. Now I'm taking a fan brush and I'm going to start working on my wave, circular motions with a soft white, circular motions. Figuring out where that wave is going to splash in. And creating a line of foams, I guess you want to call it, that angle's kind of U-shaped, that's going to go slant down in. And the shop rag, if you have too much paint, just touch it with over the paint and it'll take the excess right off, creating a smoother surface for you. Pushing upward with my fan brush, creating a little splash. Now I'm just working the angle of that wave, how it's going to fall back. Fan brush works really good. Just gently pull that paint down, angle it in. So now I'm working the top of that big old stone there, that rock in the middle, putting some extra white on top of that, because the water is going to follow along that top edge. And if you get a little bit on that rock, just take some dark and straighten it out, perfect it a little bit. That's with phthalo blue and a little bit of black. So now I'm going to highlight some of the sides of my cave with, I've got some yellow ochre with a touch of red and even a touch of orange, where that sunlight is going to just touch the edge of that cave there on the side. Kind of highlight those rocks a little bit. And I'm going to add some water trickling down, some white. And I've got a little liner brush that I'm going to try and angle some of that water that's flowing down. It looks like a little bit of phthalo and white for watercolor. And I'm going to edge the base of that cave and just kind of scratch some of them in a little bit. It's just like pushing some of that color in. And then I switch to a fan brush, just kind of jiggling that in a little bit, like there's some splashes going on. A little water movement down there in that cave. And some more water angles. And you can use your finger to soften some of that up. Got a palette knife with some white, with a little bit of a roll on that. And I'm going to trickle some of that water down off of that second splashy wave there. Creating some water lines. Did add a little bit of a yellow in there for where the sunlight hits. Angling up with the splashes, and the water may trickle down over that rock. And you can use whatever edge you want on that palette. It's got a couple of nice edges, a short edge and a long edge. And I find myself using the short edge quite a bit. The long edge is nice for the longer lines, but if you have a tight spot, you can use that short edge. Going in between those rocks. Accenting some of that water that's trickling in there. I'm going into a little bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna mixed. It's just kind of a double color there. I'm going to accent some rocks, some of those boulders that are down in front where the sun just might be hitting a little bit. And just pull down. And adding a little bit of accent on the right side there. I'm adding some splashes with my fan brush underneath that base of that rock with the light blue. And maybe a touch of the green light on the left side of that rock. Just a little bit where the sun is hitting. Creating a water line coming in. Water is traveling through that between the rocks. A little bit of the white and blue mix. And highlighting that right side. A little bit of yellow ochre, and yellow. Just ever so slight up there. Doesn't have to be a lot. Because the sunlight is coming into that cave a little bit, so that rock will be touched by the sun. A little orange or red. And you can use your finger, to smooth it out. I almost see a finished painting here. I really enjoyed doing this one. It was so much fun. And I hope you do too. Post your painting if you want. I'd love to see it. So until next time, happy painting and God bless.